Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Red Devil Experience. My name is Eric. Hope everybody's doing well. We got the latest Manchester United news. Today is a big, massive news show. I mean, there is so much news. We literally might not even have time to cover it all. We got, what do you want to talk about? Midfield updates, winger updates, players leaving the football club, new names being involved in the winger position, the midfielder position as well. What it's looking like, what's shaping up for the summer. It looks like it's going to be a massive summer. I have a couple opinions on that as well. There's also a story that Manchester United may potentially do a late sort of stopgap loan midfield signing in January at the very last moment. I would say classic, total, sort of Glazier-ish move there, but we'll get into that. And also, as Reynoso is here and has said, rest in peace to Dorgu's hamstring. We are going to get into the Dorgu update. Now, I think as many people might have heard and might have seen that he could potentially be up to 10 weeks, they're saying, which is just really, really sad. The guy went through a period of time where he was really sort of struggling. It wasn't looking too great. And he's gone onto the wing and he's had this resurgence and he's been really good. And he just scored an absolute banger of a goal, and he scored some really good goals for us. And it looked like we may have just created sort of our own version of maybe, a Gareth Bale, a player that was supposed to be meant to play left back and ends up as a winger. We do have updates on that. It might not all be so totally doom and gloom, but it's not what we hope for. It does seem like he's going, he's not going to come back in 2 weeks, unless some sort of miracle happens. But maybe it won't be 10 weeks. We got sort of the full update. We got sort of the full kind of picture as much as that we possibly can. So we're going to get into that. Make sure you're smashing the like button. It is super important to the channel. So if you want to support us, the biggest way you could do it, there's 3 ways actually. Make sure you obliterate that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Hit the notification bell icon. And if you want to go the extra mile, get involved in the chat, but also, share the video, share the link, share the channel with friends and family, and get them in here and get them part of the community. So, but I hope everybody's doing well. Reynoso kicking things off by saying R.I.P. Dorgu's hamstring. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh. At least we can say he has officially made his statement. Only problem going forward is whether he gets the number 11 or number 3 in the future. Well, we're going to talk about it. And actually, we're going to kick off the show with that. So, here is sort of the update. Now, it's a couple different. It's not totally all on the, let's just say it's not totally on the, just the injury. There is a little bit of a positional sense of an update as well. So Manchester United, this came from Dean Jones Soccer. Manchester United now see Patrick Dorgu as a winger going forward, with the coaching staff convinced it's his best position. Because of this, the club could move to sign a new left back to cover for Luke Shaw in the next transfer windows. And yeah, I think he's played definitely more left back than he has played obviously winger. But from what we've seen of him playing winger, he just looks way more comfortable. He's been way more effective. And I think he just actually enjoys it more. I mean, even from his own statements, he said he likes to get into the box. He likes to take shots. I've always said he's a player that, in terms of dribbling down the line and getting into dangerous areas, he's always been good at that. And, the shooting has improved. And maybe just, maybe we still need sort of the crossing, still a little bit of the final ball aspect needs to get better. But he was doing really good. So this is one aspect that, listen, I mean, now, maybe we need one less sort of winger. I think United are still in the market for a winger. I don't think that they're, we do have an update sort of confirming this as well, but I don't think United are looking at it and saying, well, we got Dorgu, we got Diallo, and we got Mbeumo, and we'll just call up Lacey and we'll be good. I do think that they are quite interested in getting another winger. I don't mind that either, because we sort of talked about it the other day. We need 4 players for basically each position if we're getting into Champions League, which right now we are in the position of Champions League, so we should be thinking like we're going to get into Champions League. So we probably do need another winger, and we need as much depth because there will be injuries. There's going to be loads of games to play. You should be able to get Lacey and whoever else potentially some minutes, some opportunities at some point during the season. So yeah, but with Dorgu, we also got the update when Manchester United signed Patrick Dorgu. They accepted he was still raw, but believed his pace, physicality, core attributes, and versatility would allow him to succeed in the Premier League. And there's been a slight update that maybe potentially we might be getting Rafael Leao. So stick around for that. I'll get into that. That's why he's on the thumbnail. He has been mentioned today in the news, amongst a couple other players. So, but yeah, I mean, I was saying the same thing. When Dorgu came in, he was still raw. He did have the pace, and he had some good physicality as well. And he had that aspect of a versatility as well. He wasn't really just solely a defensive player. That's why he could dribble the ball forward and get into dangerous areas. Now, obviously, as many people have heard, Patrick Dorgu, this is what Laurie Whitwell told us in The Athletic, that Patrick Dorgu is set to be out for around 10 weeks after scans reveal a hamstring injury. Well, I knew that much. I knew he had a hamstring injury because he grabbed the hamstring, and that's not the way he sort of went down. It was solely because it was overstretched. It was definitely pulled. It was definitely, it wasn't from like a tackle or something like that. It was because he overstretched running and the whole thing pulled out. So, that is the worst possible news that we probably could have got, but there's some updates here. So maybe it won't be necessarily 10 weeks. So let's see. The further update from The Athletic on Dorgu was that Manchester United are still assessing the full extent of Patrick Dorgu's injury, with his recovery timeline not yet fully confirmed. A 10-week absence would see him miss the club's next 8 matches, potentially returning after the March international break, with a possible comeback against Leeds on April 11th. And if that's the case, it's just shit. It's just shit. And that's why life is cruel, man. Because why? Why now? The guy was enjoying life. He was doing so good. We were enjoying watching him play. We were enjoying sort of the renaissance, sort of the resurgence. And now it's been robbed away from him, and it's been robbed away from us. And that's it's unfortunate. It's life, and football is cruel. It's a cruel game, and it's a cruel world. So, at the very none the least, I wish Dorgu a speedy recovery, and I hope he's not too down about it. I'm sure he's fucking gutted because listen, I've been a player, and you don't want to miss games when you're enjoying yourself. You don't want to miss games when you're enjoying playing, when things are rolling for you. You don't want to miss games in general, but, I'm sure he was sitting there feeling super confident, enjoying what he was doing in the team, the position that he was playing. He certainly played like it, and now he can't contribute. And, he's going to be sitting there feeling like shit. So that's always the worst possible thing. Now, sources say that Patrick Dorgu's injury is still under evaluation and the timeline for his absence is unclear. So while they did sort of guesstimate that he may be out for 10 weeks, maybe it won't be 10 weeks. Maybe it'll be less. I'm hoping it's less. I don't think it'll be massively less. I don't think we'll see him in like 2-3 weeks. I think it'll definitely be, maybe it could be 5 to 6 weeks instead of 10. You're talking about half. That would be very good. That would be encouraging. 4 to 6 weeks is usually the normal sort of extent of a hamstring injury. So I feel like 10 weeks is a bit extreme. But I mean, if he's done it, if he's done the hamstring really bad, it could be 10 weeks. But I'm hoping for him that it's not. So, Alex Crook on Talk Sport chimed in on it and said, I've got to say the latest information I have is that even if Dorgu is going to miss 10 weeks, it isn't really going to change what Manchester United do in this window. If one of their long-term targets suddenly become available, they would do it. But I think far more likely United to spend money in the summer. That was sort of an update of, because some people felt like, well, if Dorgu goes out for 10 weeks, maybe we got to go and sign somebody now. Because technically, I mean, we've lost a winger. We don't have enough. We don't have too many wingers. We're down to Mbeumo and Diallo, and Mbeumo has been playing striker. You can sort of supplement it, I guess, if you want to put Cunha out there. But, you know, Cunha to me is not the same as having somebody at the speed of Dorgu. Because Cunha is not really a winger. He can sort of play there. He did sort of play that role under, you know, Amorim. He's come off of the left-hand side. But, I mean, even in the Arsenal match, and he still did well, but even in the Arsenal match, you could tell, like, defensively, it's not really the same. He's got a slower pace. You know, when Dorgu was in there, I was a bit worried that we were going to get exposed there. Luckily, we didn't, and it was all right. But it's just a different dynamic. Doesn't mean that it's, you know, absolutely horrible, or we can't make it work for the time being. But it's just not going to be the same, is it? So, we also then got this update following the Dorgu injury that Patrick Dorgu's final test results could yet hold on. Patrick Dorgu's final test results could yet precipitate a late move for an alternative, given both Diego Leon and Malacia are not viable first-team options between now and the final day at Brighton. And that's sort of the update. I mean, people were asking about Leon last time, Diogo Leon. And I said, it just seems like he's not good enough. And the people at Manchester United seem to think so. And I said, I think it's just easy to put 2 + 2 together. I mean, if he was actually good enough, I'm sure we would see him somewhere, and we haven't seen him. And he doesn't seem like he's really near it. So that adjustment period coming from where we got him from in South America, and coming to Manchester United and playing, you know, he's not at the level that we need. And, you know, I don't think we can really rely on Malacia either. And Dorgu's been playing winger anyway. So they're not really viable options anyway. You know, they're not really viable options anyway. Now, that's sort of all the updates that we have on Dorgu right now. I'm sure we'll get some more news. I don't think we'll get any today, but we'll get more, you know, later. We'll get more later in another day, for sure. Probably tomorrow and the day after, something like that, to that degree. So we'll see. Hopefully he's not out for 10 weeks. Hopefully it'll be 4 to 6, and, you know, he'll miss less matches and we'll get him back sooner. We do have other transfers as well, other transfer news as well. Now, there's updates about Ugarte and Joshua Zirkzee. A couple big updates. There's a small update sort of about Kobe Mainoo, and then there's a whole midfield update. There's a winger update. Updates about Rashford and Andre Onana. And an update surrounding Harry Maguire. And then anything that's breaking live right now, because news technically does come out while we are live now, we will get to that as well. So, but okay, so here's the updates on Casemiro and Zirkzee. Casemiro is not the only midfielder who will leave Manchester United at the end of the season. Manuel Ugarte's long-term future is also in doubt. It does definitely certainly feel that way. You know, it does certainly feel that way. I don't know, you know, necessarily. I think he is sort of a bit limited, and I do think that, you know, he may be just one that's not going to be able to stick around. And I think Joshua Zirkzee, I think these two guys, Zirkzee and Ugarte, are probably the most likely to leave, other than Casemiro, who's obviously leaving. And then also Harry Maguire potentially may be leaving as well. So, but Manuel Ugarte and Joshua Zirkzee have drawn interest from Ajax and Roma, and Juventus is in there as well for Zirkzee, but are not close to leaving. Tyrell Malacia may seek a loan for more game time, while United's likely exits will focus on younger fringe or under 21 players. Yeah, I don't expect him to leave in January. Again, January doesn't seem like we're literally doing anything. We might do this sort of late loan-in, shock, as the club would put it, surprise. It's not really a surprise to me, but I think in the summer, I think Zirkzee will probably go, and I think Ugarte will probably go, and Malacia, I think he's on his last year of his contract, and we're not going to give him another one. So, even if he goes on loan, which I don't even think they'll send him on loan, because we don't really have another left back, and I don't think we're going to get one in. So it doesn't really make sense to let Malacia, go on loan for more game time at this current moment in time. But I'm pretty sure Malacia is in his last year, so he would end up going for free. And Harry Maguire's in his last year as well, and it doesn't look like we're necessarily going to give him a new contract either. So, but we've got this Nathan Salt. If you don't know, his name is Nath Salt. His name is Nathan Salt. Manchester United and England under 21. Works for Mail Sport. Is a journalist. Okay, he had massive updates about Manchester United's transfer. So he's given a lot of detail. Now, this one is about Joshua Zirkzee. And he had this to say: Joshua Zirkzee is the most intriguing senior player that could depart, with the expectation now that due to such limited depth, Ugarte will stay until the summer despite interest from Turkey. Zirkzee picked up a calf problem in the final stages of the FA Cup defeat by Brighton, but he is being targeted by multiple Serie A clubs, including Juventus. A number of academy players are set for loan exits, with Toby Collier heading to Hull City, Ethan Wheatley off to Bradford City, and Sekou Kone expected to stay with Ineos-owned Lausanne Sport until the end of the season, following a month-long trial period in Switzerland. So, maybe we do see Zirkzee maybe go out the door. I think Ugarte can't go anywhere unless we get somebody in. And it seems like we're leaving it really late. And we still technically need that fourth player. We're not playing a lot of matches, but listen, like Dorgu just did his hamstring. What happens if Cass does his hamstring? Or what happens if Mano does his hamstring? We're down to two midfielders, and we have no substitutions for them. We have no backup. We have no depth. So you literally cannot let Ugarte go in the middle of this season. You can't. Joshua Zirkzee, though, we have ample of players for the positions that he would technically play in. So if one was to go in January, although Manchester United don't seem like they're very interested in letting anybody go, but if somebody was going to go, I think it would be Joshua Zirkzee. He does have, he does have, a sort of bigger, he has sort of a bigger chance of going, because we've got loads of options. And, again, I don't even consider him a striker. I would see him as a 10. We got like 3 10s, and we only got one in the team, so we're covered there. We don't really need him. What's up, Lawrence? How you doing? So, we'll see how that is. And I think there was a couple of updates that just came out now, but I'll circle back to them. But one update that we did get from the Athletic, again, Athletic coming through a lot today. Is the stream all right, by the way? Is it not? Is it dropping anything? Is it because it's freezing on my end a little bit, but it might just be for me. But anyway, Kobbie Mainoo's long-term future was uncertain under Ruben Amorim, but he's impressed since returning to the starting XI under Michael Carrick. United are now ready to restart contract talks, with Mainoo currently earning around $20,000 a week, and his deal running until next season, plus a one-year option. And, you know, this has been the talk over the past couple of days. We know that United are working on giving him sort of a new contract. I mean, he deserves it, but... all right, thanks, Renoso. I just think it's disgusting that he's still on $20K a week. You know, the kid deserves to get fucking paid, okay? Give him more money, bro. $20K a week is disgusting. Or even if he was coming off the bench, what he's already done for us, how many matches he's played for us, and what he's done in some of the matches for us. 20K is disgusting. The fact that he's still on 20K is disgusting. So they need to do what's right. Give him a pay increase. He absolutely deserves it. You know, it's just kind of a bit of a joke that he's there and he's on 20K. Everybody else is making like fucking 120K. You know, they're making at least 100K more than he's making, and he's sort of an integral part of the team. He is a player that we have been using quite a lot. Sponsored by Zen. So yeah, I just wanted to hit that. I mean, just so we remember, Kobbie Mainoo is out there playing on 20K a week. Everybody else around him is actually making proper money. Kobe's getting the short end of the stick there. So now, your mic is the same as mine, but your audio is much better when streaming. I moved to a Rode, but been live for more than a month. Yeah, I don't really like Rode. I bought a Rode one at one point, and I didn't really like it, but it was cheap. I don't know. I saw somebody streaming with this, and I needed a new mic because I had I used to have a Blue Yeti, and they fucked it up. Blue Yeti. They screwed it up. They stopped updating the software for it, which is a shame because it was actually, I liked the mic, and then I needed this one, and I got this one, and I like this one. This one's been really good. It's been really good. So that's a bit high, but yeah. And it lights up red. I mean, you can make it whatever color, but you know, I love red. Anyway, Rode I use for voice recording and music. I'm sure there's probably some good ones. The one that I bought wasn't great though. But we do have a total midfield update. Okay, we got updates again about. I mean, I'm a little bit bored by it in terms of the Elliot Anderson. It's the Baleba, the Wharton. It's literally like the same news over and over again. But there's some things that go a little bit further into depth, and then we do have updates. A couple new names for the winger position, and some interesting things. So. The Athletic again giving us an update talking about Manchester United's summer focus will be a midfield overhaul with Elliot Anderson as the preferred target. Carlos Baleba and Adam Wharton are also being considered as midfield options. Nathan Stolt has given us an update saying Elliot Anderson is the absolute top priority for Manchester United, but the same is being said over at Manchester City. And the level of positivity or negativity on the likelihood of that potential move depends on who you ask. The permanent head coach at both clubs is understood to be a major factor, with Anderson keen to wait until after the World Cup to decide his future, which I think was always going to be the case. So listen, somebody like Elliot Anderson and Adam Wharton and probably Baleba as well, but Baleba we don't really need to wait. But those two guys, Elliot Anderson and Wharton, we're not going to be able to get those guys in until they're done with the World Cup anyway. So whenever England, finishes, and if they go to the final, we got to wait till the final. We'll see what England does. But yeah, we're gonna have to wait. So, and also, I think, listen, that might be something that happens around the same time. I mean, Manchester City might have theirs in before. There's a lot of question marks over Pep. He may potentially leave. It might just be all noise, and he may be staying. They've been doing this for the past couple sort of years. Now that they keep saying that he's going to leave and he doesn't actually leave. But I mean, if Pep does leave, it's sort of a big thing because it depends who they get in. And that could have an impact as well on sort of Elliot Anderson's decision, and then obviously who we pick will have an impact as well. So I have a vision of Baleba then plundering Wolves in the summer. Well, I think Baleba is one that I think right now, from what we're getting, they would look to get Baleba in as sort of the second guy, but the main number one target is Elliot Anderson. So, as Manchester United Football Club, if we believe and we rate him that highly, well, we shouldn't be afraid. We should go in and battle for it. If we lose it, we lose it, albeit. But, it is what it is. But we shouldn't be scared to go and do it. And you never know, we might get him. I can't for sure say what's going to happen. I don't think we should sit here and say that, like, we're definitely not going to get him. I think anything can happen, and if we put ourselves in the best possible position, which is Champions League finish, and we have a nice end to the rest of the season, and maybe they keep Michael Carrick, or maybe we get in somebody of a sort of a higher ilk in a Tuchel, or listen, that might benefit us as well. Like, listen, Tuchel is the manager of England. Tuchel is going to be managing Elliot Anderson at the World Cup. If Elliot Anderson likes Tuchel and we end up with Tuchel, that could be the decision in itself. It might not happen. Maybe we stick with Carrick, but I'm just saying. So I don't think it's all doom and gloom just because City want to get involved and just because maybe potentially Liverpool going to get involved. It makes it much harder. But I think as long as we put ourselves in the best possible sort of, position, then I think we always have a chance to make something happen, and we should definitely be in there fighting for it. So, but there's a little bit more of an update on the midfield, okay, and that is that Adam Wharton is a key target for Liverpool this summer. Dun dun dun. While United are more relaxed about Baleba, who has privately expressed interest in joining Old Trafford alongside international teammate Brian Mbeumo. So, I mean, listen, when you're looking at these sort of updates, right, it does sort of make sense why it seems like Elliot Anderson is being prioritized over Baleba, because Baleba is the one that's more in our corner. The Baleba is the easier one, so you don't really have to do. I mean, you could do that first. But that's also one that maybe you can sort of push to the back end a little bit because you're in the lead for it and he wants to come to you and there's higher competition. So you need to move quicker. You need to show stronger interest and intent on the player with more competition, which would be Elliot Anderson or Adam Wharton. City are getting involved. I think it's going to be between United, City, and Liverpool for those two players. And somebody's gonna get one, somebody's gonna get the other, and whoever doesn't get one may shift to the other one. So I think it makes sense that Manchester United have decided that they are sort of prioritizing and putting Elliot Anderson first because you can go and get Baleba after. And we are going to have some sort of decent money as well. I mean, there's been an update, and I'll get to it at some point, but there's an update about Rasmus Højlund, which I've been saying for time now. I mean, it's, it's not anything that's sort of breaking news, but I think Fabrizio did come out and say that there is absolutely nothing left between Manchester United and Rasmus Højlund. They are not looking to bring him back. They are looking for the money, and they want that money so that we can use it to reinvest. And listen, we could potentially on the cards have an absolutely massive summer in terms of transfers because we're gonna get decent money for Rasmus. If we figure out the Rashford situation and we get Barcelona to actually give us the money, that's good money too. And he's an academy player, so that's considered pure profit. Casemiro's going; those wages are out. Okay, we're going to be saving a ton of money there. We may potentially be selling Ugarte. We'll get some decently good money back from that transfer as well. And And then if we get in Champions League, we're going to get Champions League money, and we'll get better money from the Premier League as well for finishing in the position that we finish in. So we might be able, listen, we spent the amount that we did last season, finishing 15th and no Europe. So we should be able to spend more. So we may be able to actually do something absolutely massive in the summer. And it's lining up that way. I will say, though, for Ineos' sake, that they better do something really, really good in the summer, because we've just witnessed a Glazer January. And I still think it's a disgrace. I still think it's unacceptable. And the only way that they are sort of going to make up for it is if they actually go and get the work done in the summer. That's the only way that they can sort of win this, is that, they're kicking the can down the road to the summer. They want to spend the money in the summer. Well, they better get the proper targets, and they better make something massively happen in the summer to justify for not doing a single thing in January of any sort of significance. So there is another update as well. So this was a big update, sort of with a lot of detail in it, but I think it is an important sort of thing to mention and talk about here. The midfield issue, this come from Nathan Salt. The midfield issue, meanwhile, has been problematic. For some time. United's head of negotiations, Matt Hargreaves, has had numerous meetings throughout January on the feasibility of a short-term midfield option with extremely limited depth of just Casemiro, Kobe Mainoo, and Manuel Ugarte to play in Carrick's 4-2-3-1. James Garner was a topic of discussion before he penned a new and improved contract at Everton, which I didn't think James Garner was ever coming. But anyway, he also went on to say, while João Gomez, Tyler Adams, Wilfred Ndidi, and Ruben Neves have all come up in conversation, Felix Nemeka is another name that was floated by a well-connected German source. Sources at United are increasingly twitchy about the prospect of not making a move and it going on to cost them Champions League football, a scenario that nobody behind the scenes is willing to contemplate right now. While all the noises at Old Trafford are the things are that things could be very quiet, nobody wants to go as far as ruling anything out. As one source put it, a stopgap midfielder on loan until the summer could be something that moves very, very late. Now, on that update, I will just say that to me, it's just like, when I read that, it pisses me off, because all I think is Glazes. All I think is all the January transfers that we've ever been through over the past 12 years and plus, right? Where we sit here, besides the one that we did Bruno in, okay? That we sat here and everybody's saying we should be doing business in January. We're Manchester United. We are not a fucking mid-table club. We are supposed to be a big club. We are supposed to be, we are a huge institution. We should be acting like it, and we don't act like it. And then these guys are getting twitchy, because I've literally been sitting here saying that why would you want to gamble on the Champions League spot when you can literally go and do something in January, and you can't tell me you can't do nothing, because that just means that you don't know what you're doing. And, there's no way, out of all the footballers in the world out there, with the scouting department we have, which is one of the largest scouting departments, scouting networks, out of every club in the world, you're telling me we can't find somebody, you're telling me we can't go and find somebody for 20 million, 25, 30 million. We bought Sonny Lemons for 18. Look at the impact he had. You're telling me there's nobody out there in the midfield that we can go and do a deal for that, where it's a minimized sort of risk, where it's not going to destroy any part of the transfer budget, where it's not going to do anything to the summer moves. That's So I sit here and they come out with this, and they're talking about very, very late, and we've been talking about very, very late. If anything happens, they're going to do it a day. They're going to do it on the day, a day before, or 2 days before. They're going to bring in somebody on loan, and they're going to pass it off like they did something of some sort of significance. They're going to spin it. They're going to say, we did what we properly had to do. Here it is. And ultimately, if it's an Ndidi, it's shit or something like that. I think the best option that maybe we have at this time for something to happen would be probably Ruben Neves, for 20 million, because he's 27 years of age and he's played in the Premier League before, and 20 million is nothing in today's time. So, but we don't know who it's going to be. They haven't really indicated exactly what's going to happen in that aspect. And nothing might happen at all. So I think it's just, I still think it's a disgrace, and they need to be better. They need to do better. And at the and again, you want to kick the can down the road, fine, but you're putting massive pressure on yourself, because now I'm going to judge that summer window 2 to 3 times harder, because this is what you done. You could have helped us out. I mean, it's not ideal that we're going to go into a window in the summer where it's going to be massive competition for players. There is a World Cup, so it's going to delay everything, and we're going to have a shorter time. Every season, we go into the same dilemma where everybody demands, and as we should, we want the players in before preseason. We want the players in before we start the season. And we always, every summer window we always get 1 to 2 players 3 to 4 matches into the Premier League. And then those players always come in and they are always behind. And it always takes them, it takes them time to get up to speed. And it's not beneficial to us. And we have a slow start to the season. We have a rough start to the season. And there's a reason for that, because we are always behind. We are always lagging behind. Neves is going to Madrid, is the hearsay. Would be nice to loan someone like Ndiaye from Everton. Well, I'm going to get to that in a second as well, about Ndiaye. I don't even know if I pronounced his name right, but Ndiaye. I'm going to get to that, and we're not looking for a loan on that one, but we did get this sort of update. This has to do with the winger sort of position as well. And this is sort of new, but Manchester United's main 3 targets are not a secret. Ineos, guided by the likes of Director of Recruitment, Christopher Vivell, are always very clear on their long-term primary transfer targets. The left winger market is going to be one to pay closer attention to in the coming months, with United likely to stick to a back 4 system, regardless of whether Carrick remains in charge or not. Now, before I read the rest of the update, I will just say, I think that's the most obvious. I mean, the fact that they were trying to transition Ruben to do that, and they didn't, that was the ultimate decision. They didn't want to go with that 3-back. They decided to do it when they got Ruben in, and when they tried to make Ruben go to a 4-back, it was quite clear and obvious they didn't want to do that system. They didn't want that formation anymore. So I think any person that plays a 3-back, I think you can count them out. If they can't play a 4-back, if they don't play some sort of a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2 or whatever it is, I don't think they'll be coming in. And I think that is sort of has been set by Jason Wilcox and Omar and the rest of them, that this is what we're going to play. So we are going to need a winger. Now, the rest of the update goes as says, sources in Italy have said that AC Milan would consider a sale for Rafael Leao, while Ineos, Premier League proven preference, brings others such as Tyreek George, 19 years of age at Chelsea, is available to leave, and Everton's Iliman Ndiaye, under contract until 2029, into consideration. And he has been, these are 3 sort of new players. I think Leao may have been mentioned to us once or twice in just sort of randomness in the past, but I will say this, I don't think Leao is that far-fetched of a thing. Now we have to see, if there's any further developments in this, but listen, Italy is a place where clubs don't have tons of money, and even somebody like the likes of AC Milan, the fact that like Theo Hernandez, was it Theo Hernandez? I always mix up the brothers. The fact that he left to go to Saudi, okay? Was it Theo Hernandez? I'm mixing it up. the fact that he's left, okay, I was a bit surprised, but then I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, these clubs don't tend to have a lot of money, and then they do have to end up selling. So somebody like Rafael Leao could end up leaving AC Milan. Now, if it's actually true that he ends up, maybe there's a lot more competition. Maybe we won't end up getting him. Okay, but it wouldn't be too far-fetched if he actually ends up leaving AC Milan. I think he is a good player. And one that I think, number one, he's super fast and he has the speed, at least for the Premier League. But Ineos do still sort of seem like they are still going down the route of sort of Premier League proven. I don't know how I feel about Tyreek George. He is younger. He's 19. I kind of don't really like this whole picking up Chelsea slops. I don't really like giving money to Chelsea, to teams that we directly compete with. I don't really like that aspect. To an Everton, okay, but to Chelsea, I don't really like it. So I don't really know, about Tyreek George, and he is 19. Ndiaye, listen, he could be a good player. There is still Diomande out there, Jan Diomande. And I've seen some people talk about and say that, forget Jan Diomande, go and get Ndiaye. But I will say that when you look up statistically, if you look up the statistics, Jan Diomande is by far the better player than Ndiaye. The only difference is that Jan Diomande is playing in the Bundesliga and Ndiaye is playing in the Premier League. So maybe you have to take into account, the level of the league, and maybe it evens out a little bit. But Jan Diomande is outperforming Ndiaye in all over the place. So and Jan Diomande can play on both sides of the wings as well. So he can play left, he can play right. Ndiaye seems to play on the left solely. He doesn't really play on the right too much. So he's a bit limited, I guess, and we want versatility. Diomande would fit that. Now, obviously the story about Jan Diomande, I know I'll get to that in a second, but there was just one more update, that it also came from Dean Jones Soccer saying that Manchester United are set to add Iliman Ndiaye to their shortlist, with his style and profile increasingly admired as a strong fit for their attack. Now, I don't know how much he would actually cost, but let me see if I could look this up real quick, because I meant to do that. I don't know why they put it in euros, because he's in England. But here I'm seeing somewhere around 45 million euros. So I would assume, and he has a contract till 2029, I would assume Everton probably would want at least 65 million euros for him. So I don't know if that would be something that we would end up doing. In the Premier League, is 17 appearances, 4 goals, and 2 assists this season so far. So, he is a right wing. Oh, I had them flipped. Sorry. When I was looking at the map earlier. I stand corrected. He plays right wing, not too much left wing. He plays more right wing. It was the opposite way. My apologies for that, people. But yes. So, and where is the Jan Diomande one? So the Jan Diomande one, since we're talking about the wingers, according to Sky Sports, RB Leipzig's Jan Diomande is attracting interest from Manchester United and other top clubs. His £87 million asking price has deterred bids this month, should Manchester United pursue him in the summer. Now people are saying it's too far expensive for someone hardly proven. I mean, I do agree to that extent, but again, I think Leipzig play games, okay? They're very good with the transfers. I don't think they were very interested in selling him in January. I think the fact that they've put him at 87 million, I'm surprised that they didn't ask for 100. I also think, I also think for the summer, like I said yesterday, they're probably going to ask for high. Okay, 87 million, 90 million, maybe 80 million pounds. Um, but you should still probably go into negotiations and try and get him for 50 to 60 million. And maybe they'll actually do it because a lot of people do that. A lot of people, a lot of clubs, if you're smart, well, if you want to sell him for 50 or 60, well, you got to ask for 90. Because if you ask for 50 and 60, everybody's going to lowball you, and you're not going to get 50 and 60. Or it's going to be a lot more difficult to get 50 and 60. So it's a bit of an art of negotiations. You know, ask for very high, ask for something outrageous so that it seems like it's crazy, and then, you know, sort of pretend like you're meeting people in the middle and you're getting exactly what you want. You know, and it kind of works out because everybody looks like they're a winner anyway. I mean, if everybody's being told that Leipzig is asking for 90 million, okay, and they really want 60, and you end up getting him for 60, well, you look like you've negotiated them down to 30 million, so you look good. And, you know, they get the money that they wanted. So everybody's sort of a winner, and everybody's sort of happy on that aspect. So we'll see about that. I think he is, listen, he is he looks like a very good, bright talent. It is a bit more riskier, though, because you're talking about 60 million for a guy that is a bit unproven. I mean, we paid 60 million for Cunha, and we paid a similar fee for Brian Mbeumo, and they're obviously two players that played in the Premier League, proven themselves in the Premier League. They're more experienced, they're more developed, you know, and when you compare Jan to it, it is a bit more of a gamble in terms of it's a decently good chunk of money to throw at a kid, you know, a young guy, and he has to come from the Bundesliga. And as we've seen a lot in recent times, people coming from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, they have sort of struggled to a certain aspect. You know, even Sesko is one. He's a couple years older, and he's had more experience than Jan. And even him, you know, is having sort of a period of adjustment that it's been a bit sort of rough. It hasn't been like absolutely exceptional. So we got to see. But I guess if we're going to talk about wingers, we do have to talk about this one quick update by Andy Mitten. About Marcus Rashford, which is Manchester United have no plans to bring Marcus Rashford back. Both the club and Barcelona are focused on securing the best possible deal. And as we should. I mean, Marcus Rashford should not come back. I don't think he's ever going to come back. And I don't think it had really, you know, many people felt like maybe if Ruben left, that Rashford would come back. And I always said, I think that was a decision made by not only Ruben, but Ineos itself. I think Jason Wilcox and the rest of them, I don't think they were very happy with what they saw from Marcus Rashford. I mean, they were there. You know, when they came in, before Ruben was there, they were watching what Marcus was doing under Eric Ten Hag as well. They do show up to the trainings and stuff like that. They do know what goes on behind the scenes that we may not be privy to. And I think they just, what they saw was like, we don't want him. We don't like what we're seeing from him. And so they got him out of the football club. They got him out of the football club, and I don't think he was ever coming back. And he shouldn't come back. I mean, he's doing well at Barcelona anyway. And I always said that he needed sort of a new life out of Manchester United. He's been through some, you know, shit times at United. It's been very, very, very down and up. And he should stay there. But at the same time, Barcelona needs to stop dicking around. Okay, and we have an agreement for 30 million and pay the 30 million because that's what you agreed to, and he's done well. So, you know, be a club that has some sort of respect. You know, you only have, to quote Scarface, you only have your word and your balls in this life, okay? So keep your word, have some self-respect. You agreed to a deal at 30 million. He's done well for you. Pay the 30 million. Don't come crying about you don't got money. I don't care that you just spent $1 billion on Camp Nou reservations, and it's like, you know, a water park inside of there. That's not our problem. So now we did get a story yesterday that PSG might come in and rival Barcelona for Marcus Rashford, and that would be good for us. And ultimately, I think it's still going to be a bit difficult because Marcus seems desperate to stay at Barca. He doesn't really want to look anywhere else. As long as Barca tell him they want him, he doesn't seem to want to look at any other club. So it might be a difficult one, and it might be one that gets dragged out, unfortunately. I would like it to be done quick and fast. I would like to get to just get over it. I want to get the money in. Let's add it to the transfer kitty. And let's get pushing so we can all move on and move forward. But we will see. Temesgin, where you been, buddy? Temesgin Delicio says, United, I like Neves, Anderson, Ndiaye, Wesley, Vinicius. To United is better. Also make a plan for signing loan Bowie, King, Lee, Adeyemi to United is better for next season, please. I've missed your little transfer updates, bro. How you doing? You've been good? I hope everything is good. Access High says, I am ill. Tomorrow I won't go to job. I have to see the doctor. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better, buddy. And you know, take care of yourself. Drink some water. Maybe get some vitamin C. You know, get some rest. Don't do too much things. And just look after yourself. And hopefully you'll be all right, okay? So that's unfortunate. Being sick is not fun at all. It's always the worst. It's always the worst thing possible. So, now, smaller updates, okay? Andre Onana. All right, Andre Onana. Yes, he's still here. I know we've forgotten about him, and I know we all act like, you know, he's not, like we all act like we've sold him, but we haven't sold him. And he will be coming back to us temporarily, albeit I will say he will be coming back to us when the season ends, and he is still technically on our book. So Andre Onana's representatives are in discussions with Inter Milan about a possible return, with the goalkeeper expected to leave Manchester United in the summer. I would just say, thank you, Inter Milan. Thank you. Thank you. Please take him back. Please. Please go ahead. Please come and take him back, okay? Take him back. Dude, I will literally charter a plane and I will fly him to Milan myself. All right, please come take him back, please. All right. But the other part of that update is Manchester United could be forced to pay off part of Andre Onana's contract to enable a move. With 2.5 years still remaining on his deal, Andre Onana has still not given up on his United career. And on that, part of me will say I can admire, I guess, maybe the persistence, but also at the same time, I will say that you're quite delusional, bro. I mean, your career is done at this football club. You're done. You're not coming back. We're not keeping you. It's over, bro. You know, sometimes you need to just accept a bit of reality. He doesn't seem like he wants to accept a bit of reality, because we've been getting these updates that keep saying that he thinks that there is some way that somehow that he continues his career at United. And I just don't think that there is absolutely... Are you that rich to pay for a private flight? I am not rich. I'll take a loan out of the bank if I got to. I'll put myself in tons of debt just to do it, Axe. I ain't rich by any means, but if it means we could get him to Inter Milan and get him off of our books and get him out of our club permanently, but we got to make a sacrifice. You know what I mean? Your hairstyle is similar to Nana's, though. So we'll get you a new hairstyle. We'll get you a new hairstyle. Don't worry about it. It'll be all right. But yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know how this guy possibly thinks that he has any chance in any way to come back to Manchester United. I think the fact that you're not here, the fact that we kept Biender and we loaned you out, and we wanted to transfer you, but nobody wanted to give us money for you, and it was quite late to do it anyway. I don't understand how you can possibly sit there and think, I will get back into this team. I will be a part of this club. You're done, broski. You're done. It's over for you. You know, your time here was absolutely terrible. It was disgusting. It's disgusting. And there's no coming back for it. We gave you 2 years. You fumbled it all the way through from the time you came in. From the first preseason game you played, you got scored from midfield in a preseason game, and that maybe should have been our warning. But we don't take preseason too seriously, do we? But I mean, it was just disastrous. And there's just no path back for you, bro. And no, we should not take you back. There should be no way back. We gave you 2 seasons. You aren't the guy that we need. Maybe you're not good for the Premier League. Again, one of these guys, you could be all right at Ajax. He's had hiccups at Ajax. It's not even close to the level of the Premier League, and the Serie A is not the same as the English Premier League. So you could go and do that, and maybe into play in a way that's better for you, and Italian football is better for you, and it's better for your confidence, and it's not the same pressures that Manchester United have, but we've seen you crumble, bro. We've seen you crumble, so I don't think that there is a way for you to actually, come back into this at all. So... but those are the updates. We'll be looking to get Onana out. And listen, that's another guy that I forgot to mention. I mean, if we actually end up selling Onana, that's money in. We should get money from Marcus. We're getting money from Rasmus. Okay? We're saving money from Casemiro. We plan to be in the Champions League. And right now we are in the spot of Champions League. So we're getting Champions League money. We're going to get a decent payout from the Premier League. Okay? Finish as well. If we're finishing in a Champions League spot. The summer should be one, even though it's going to be a bit short. We should be able to spend a significant amount of money. So we could do something crazy in terms of buying 2 top midfielders, a winger, and then, maybe a left back or something, because it looks like we need a left back for sure. And then Maguire may potentially be leaving, and I do have this update on Maguire as well. So, and this came out and said Harry Maguire played well in the past 2 games, winning the Man of the Match award at Arsenal, but it feels increasingly likely he'll get a new contract. United have had ample opportunity to get Maguire on to fresh terms, but there appears to be limited willingness at this stage. Is Dorgu injured? Yes, Dorgu is very injured. I will tell you after I give this update. United have had ample opportunity to get Maguire on to fresh terms, but there appears to be limited willingness at this stage to do so, with his contract now around 5 months from expiry. Yeah, remember, Maguire's contract is over in the summer of 2026. So if he's not getting a deal, that's it. There's no, we already extended it by the 1-year option that we put in all the contracts. We already did that last season. So this is it. They go on to say Carrick is a fan of Maguire, but senior United figures are keen to see next season's minutes go to Lenny Yoro and Aiden Heaven, 2 younger players that United believe will be the bedrock of the back line for years to come. And I think that's very fine, but we did talk about this yesterday, and we're going to play a back 4. There's 2 centre-back spots. We have 5 centre-backs at the current time. But with De Ligt's sort of injury record, and the fact that the 2 seasons that De Ligt's been here, he has gone missing, and he's missed a lot of games this season. He's missed more games this season than last season, and even Maguire gets injured. Again, I said, listen, if you can figure out, and I don't see why we can't do it, because I mean, unless he's not willing to take it, and listen, if he's not willing to take it, then he's not willing to take it, whatever. But I don't see why you can't offer Maguire a 1-year contract. I don't see why you can't give him a 1-year contract on some reduced wages. If he wants to stay at United, which I feel like part of me feels like he would like to, okay? Because where is he going after United? I mean, he ain't going to a big club. He's up there in age. He ain't going to go to a big club. So it's up to what he wants. He won't be a starter. He shouldn't be a starter if you give him a 1-year contract. All right? But we'll have 4 centre backs, and De Ligt is one that is, again, it's just like there's no guarantee that, I mean, it's more likely that he'll get injured at some point next season and that we won't have him for quite some time. So, yeah, Euro needs minutes and Heaven needs minutes. They're still on the young side and they should get more minutes. And I think Maguire should be converted into a squad player. And Euro and Heaven should maybe lead the charge to try and take a a starting spot versus Martinez and De Ligt. But I think ultimately if De Ligt gets injured, then I think one of them should be stepping up and Maguire could be there for rotation and stuff like that. So I don't know how it's going to go. But, because even Lisandro Martinez, and we need to make a decision on this as well, because Lisandro Martinez's contract is coming down as well. And there's not a lot of time left to make this decision. So Lisandro Martinez's contract expires on June 30th, 2027. So when we get to June, he'll have 1 year left on his contract. And I don't think we have the clause. We do have the clause, though, that includes an option for further years. So we're a little bit secure in that aspect, I will say, at the very least. We are a bit secure because, and I think we should probably hold off a little bit on that because we just want to make sure that he doesn't get another bad super injury, because then that's another centre back that we sort of have to think long and hard about. Can we actually keep this guy here if he's sustaining these really bad long-term injuries? We can't really rely on these players. It would come down to him, and then it would come down to De Ligt, and so. We need to look at that. But yeah, it's quite interesting about Maguire, and I don't know, if he's going to end up staying. I don't know what it is, but in the past, when Fergie was here, we used to give players. I mean, we gave people like Scholes and some other players. They were going to retire or they were going to leave. I think Zirkzee, we did the same. Towards the end of their careers, we just kept giving them 1 year until, and they were happy to take it and they were happy to stay and we were happy to keep them. I think even in Giggs's final years, like the final 1 year or two, like, he wasn't starting games. He was coming off the bench, but we gave him a 1 year contract and he was there and he was part of the team and he did have an impact. So, it's not really common in today's time. They don't tend to do it, and players don't tend to take it. But I at the very least, I would make that offer. I don't see why you can't go to Harry Maguire and say, "Listen, this is what it is. Like, there's Euro, there's Heaven. Okay, we got Lisandro, and there's Matthijs de Ligt, and Euro and Heaven we see as the future, and we're gonna need to give them increased minutes. We value you, Harry. We like you." We think you're a good character and you've played well, but we can't give you sort of a long-term contract. We could give you an option of another year if you want to stay on, and you'll be a squad player, and you'll be getting less minutes. So up to you what you want to do, and we'll lower the wage maybe a little bit as well. Up to you what you want to do. If you want to take it, we're more than happy. If not, then. It is what it is. And maybe that's why we get the update here sort of saying that, like, United have had ample opportunity to get Maguire onto fresh terms, but there appears to be a limited willingness at this stage to do so with his contract now around 5 months from expiry. So, but Axe asked if Dorgu is injured. If you're joining late, I did talk about Dorgu in the beginning of the show. He is injured. He's done his hamstring, of course. All right. Initial report is saying that he could be out for up to 10 weeks, which is disastrous for him. And for us, it's a shame because he has been doing so well playing winger. And he just had, a beautiful goal against Arsenal and helped us get the win away from home. And now that's been taken away from him and it's been taken away from us, but nothing has been confirmed. He's going to have more scans and they have not officially confirmed that he will be out for 10 weeks. I would be a little bit surprised if he actually is out for 10 weeks. I mean, again, he could technically be out for up to 10 weeks, depending on the severity. But usually when you do a hamstring, if it's mild, if it's not a major tear, okay, which mild is the most common one, usually you would be out for 4 to 6 weeks. So hopefully, in the next coming days, we do get the update that Dorgu will be only out for 4 to 6 weeks and not for 10 weeks. Because if he's out for 10 weeks, he's not coming back until after the international break. And he'll be back for Leeds, which is in like April or something like that. So he's going to miss like basically the rest of the season almost. He'll be back, but when he comes back, he won't be as sharp. He'll lose his sharpness. He'll lose his form. And who knows, what kind of performance he's going to be putting in. So hopefully for Dorgu's sake, it's 4 to 6 weeks, and he comes back and he doesn't miss as many games, because I think that's about 11 matches if he's out for 10 weeks. So we don't want that. Lauren says, a contact in Spanish sport told me Vinny Jr. could well be offered to United this summer. How much? I can't say. They'd tried to get 9 figures, Real. Well, on the flip side of that, he is being linked to Arsenal. And there is a lot of noise coming out from there. So I don't know if Vinny is necessarily going to leave Real Madrid. Maybe he does. It's going to be a super premium. Listen, even if Madrid let him leave, Madrid ain't gonna let him leave for cheap. They're gonna demand, and they're gonna get a premium fee, as they usually do. I mean, look what they got for us. Casemiro literally, publicly was like, "I want to leave Real Madrid," and he was sort of already past his prime, and they still got good money for him from us. So somebody would like Vinicius, at the age he is, with the talent he has. Even if he decides to leave, you ain't going to get no bargain on Vinicius. So I think it's going to be quite expensive. And his wages, I mean, let's just take a look real quick on Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. is under contract with Real Madrid until June 30th, 2027. So there will be 1 year left on his contract. He does have a €1 billion release clause, which is what they do in Spain, because they are required to have a release clause. So a lot of them circumvent that by making it some absolutely ridiculous fee that nobody will ever pay. Speculation and interest from Saudi Arabia has indicated, but he has indicated a desire to stay, and negotiations for a new deal are expected to resume, aiming to secure the winger long term. So he may very well end up staying there as well. He's also being linked to Chelsea as well. So, I mean, on transfer market here, it says his current market value is 150 million euros. So again, I mean, I don't think we would end up getting him, because I don't think we have the money and the leeway to do it. Based on what we need, I mean, we're going to go get 2 midfielders. We'll need a winger. We'll probably need a left back. And maybe potentially we might need a center back as well, maybe, or some other position, maybe a striker or something like that. I don't think we'll have the money to get Vinicius Jr., even though it would be good. Effectively, he got Alonso fired after a pitch-side fight. Club president wants him gone. All the same, it's ridiculous. Why change Alonso then? Well, they changed Alonso because he wasn't... He lost the dressing room, and he wasn't performing quite well for the players that they have at Real Madrid. So, both could be true. Both could be true. He could have been part. You know, I don't think it was just Vinicius. I think if you look at the group of players at Real Madrid, the way that they acted towards Alonso, none of them respected him at the end. I mean, you saw what they did at the when they lost to Barcelona. I mean, you know, he didn't have any of them on side. Mbappe, and listen, these are big profile players there, so you need to be some sort of a type of manager or coach, and he lost them. He lost them all. So they weren't really listening to him. They didn't really respect him. And listen, Vinicius has had sort of problems at Real Madrid, okay? Whether it's been, you know, accusations of racist abuse against him, you know, sort of discrepancies between the Real Madrid fan base, like their own fans sort of booing him and stuff like that, which they tend to do. I mean, they booed Ronaldo. They boo literally, they don't care who you are. They'll boo you. They tend to do that a lot. So, I mean, I understand why there's like all this noise, and there has been sort of like little controversy surrounding him. So maybe, you know, Florentino is tired of that shit, and maybe he does want him gone as well. And listen, even if that's the case, it won't be the end for them, because it's Madrid. They'll get somebody. They'll go buy somebody else, and they'll do whatever they want. Mbappe didn't want Alonso in 3-4-3, yeah, and he was another one. So, Temesgin says, please, Wilcox, make plan for midfielder Neves, Anderson, Cole Palmer to United. We're not getting Cole Palmer. To United is better. Also make plan for signing loan boy King Lee. I don't even know who that is. Loftus-Cheek, Lorente transfer to United is better. Well, you're gonna be praying a lot, Temesgin. You're gonna be playing a lot, because I don't think we're doing anything in January. And if we do, it's gonna be stopgap loan 2 days before the window closes, and I still don't think it's going to be good. I think it's probably, you know, if you're talking about a stopgap loan, there's probably a couple tiers in there, and it probably won't even be the first tier. It'll probably be like third tier, and they'll just be like, yeah, we just bring somebody in just to bring him in. He drums up a bit of a fight wherever he goes. Yeah, and, you know, so they could be looking to move him on. But I don't think we'll be able to afford it. You know, I'm trying to see if I could find what his wages are. This was from 6 days ago. What are Vinicius Jr.'s options as his Real Madrid contract runs down? Let me try and get to the, you know, cut through all the fluff here, because this is what they do. Option 1, stay at Real Madrid and sign a new deal. Is his one option. He has a net wage of around 17 million euros per year. What does that come out to? I can't do that. I'm not that great at maths. I can't do that in my head. 17 million. He's getting 326,000 euros per week. If this is accurate. I don't know if that's like directly his wage. He might have signing on bonuses that get counted in or whatever, but yeah, Casemiro wages, yeah. I mean, he's on 327,000 a week. If he gets a new deal, it's going to go up. If he leaves, he's going to ask for more. I mean, it's not like it's not like he's going to take less. So, in May 2025, when the parties last sat down for talks, sources told ESPN the Madrid's offer to Vinicius was 20 million euros per year. The players' camp viewed that increase as insufficient and asked for an additional 10 million euros in bonuses to make a total package of 30 million per year. He's definitely ain't coming to United. And even Arsenal. I was telling my Arsenal friends, because he was the one that messaged them that he met. He mentioned it to me. He said, you know, Vinicius might leave. We might get him. I said, in your fucking dreams, you're going to get Vinicius. I said, you can't afford him. I said, you're not going to be able to afford him with those wages. Now, I don't know where he would go. that he would be able to afford it. Maybe a Manchester City or maybe a PSG. I think those are the two only clubs that might be willing to do such a deal to that caliber because they have a lot of money. It would be weird for Vinicius to go from Real Madrid to Manchester City and go with Pep, considering Pep is a Barcelona guy. But stranger shit has happened. And you know what? To be fair, maybe Chelsea as well, because Chelsea they've spent a shit ton of money, haven't they? So, and they don't mind spending a shit ton of money. And I guess if it's somebody like Vinicius, maybe they'll absolutely obliterate the bank and give him like 400,000 a week or something crazy. So, there's 24 hours after Fulham game to loan someone. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I forgot to mention it as well. So I'm going to mention it now. The protest is planned. Okay, it's still going on. The 1958 have put out a full statement with the plan planned out, online available. So I'm going to read that. I'm going to get into that as well. That reminded me. Or Saudi, Bruno. So yes. You are right. But I think it would be a fucking shame for somebody like Vinicius to go to Saudi at the age that he's going for. But, you know, I mean, if they care more about the money, then I guess it is what it is, you know? What the fuck is going on upstairs in my house? I don't know if you hear that. If you do hear that, I apologize. If not, great. Or do you think that the Saudi trend is coming to an end? No. I mean, there was a report the other day that Saudi is looking to bring in some 52 European players. They've just gotten sort of an initiative in Saudi to basically go get some top European players. Saudi has moved on from bringing in sort of the washed players. I mean, they might still do it, but, I think wash is a bit harsh, but you know what I mean. Just players that are over the peak of their career, towards the back end, that have been sort of top players, maybe like a Casemiro. Like, that's why I said it's a bit harsh, because to say washed, but Casemiro is up there in age. He's past his prime, but it's Casemiro. I mean, he's been at Real, he's been at United, he's won all the Champions Leagues, he's won La Ligas, he's won, trophies with us. They will still take him there. But there is this initiative coming from Saudi Arabia that they are looking to, I read it the other day, that they are looking to get 52 premium European players into their league. So I think they're trying to up the level in Saudi. Saudi is they're basically trying to make their own Premier League, essentially. The way you would make your own Premier League is money. The more type of competition of a player you could get from all over the world and you put them into your league, the more competitive the league will be. Which in turn, if you make it more competitive, you expect people to watch it, more people to be interested in it. The one thing that they don't really have right now, like, and I always have this thing is like, they have Ronaldo, but like, I won't watch that shit because it's like, I don't care. It's just Ronaldo. And then he's playing a bunch of what I consider to be bums. The majority of the league is like, what kind of level of player is that? All right. So I think that they want to turn it into a Premier League. The Premier League became the Premier League because of the investment of the country, England, the investment that they put into the money, the investment of money that they put into the league, the presentation of it, getting the clubs to get money in, to buy talents, from outside of England and bringing in sort of the best of the best to make it highly competitive. I think Saudi is trying to do its own thing there. So, Lucky has joined. Lucky, you're really late today. I didn't think you were going to make it. Eric, sell me Zirkzee or Ugarte. World go by me. Jean-Philippe Mateta, Ruben Neves permanently. Lawrence says there's also Bellingham in theory. Maybe World Cup will change his mind about coming back. Yeah, I don't think he really wants to leave though yet. When you go to Madrid, you don't really want to leave until you win basically almost everything. So they were entertaining in the Club World Cup the Saudi teams basically for novelty value. Renosa says, yeah, it's a circus act, but they want to legitimize the competition. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so I think that's what's going to happen. I think that they're pushing. They want. I think from what I've seen, from what they're trying to do, they want to have their own Premier League. It's a lot of work, and it's going to take a shit ton of money, and it's going to take years. But I mean, they have the money for it, and they seem heavily invested in going down this sports path. I mean, they're literally everywhere. They've taken over literally everything. I mean, they've gotten involved in the they got involved in the NBA. They've gotten involved in football. They've gotten involved in UFC. They've gotten involved in boxing. They've gotten involved in boxing. They've gotten involved in the WWE. They are literally everywhere. They are literally pushing on all fronts in sports. So I don't think this is going away. I think this is something that is country led, and they're going to invest a shit ton of money into it, and they're going to continue pushing forward. This isn't sort of like the China thing. Remember like years ago, I don't know how long ago. Remember when players like Oscar, they used to play on Chelsea, the Brazilian, ended up going to China, and I think like Hulk, the player from Porto, ended up going to China, and China was like paying them some ridiculous amount of money, and then that didn't last very long. You know what I mean? I don't think that's not this. That's not this. You know, that thing fell flat very, very quickly. It didn't last very long. They even Pato, I think, went over there, yeah? That's not what's happening. I think this is totally different. Totally different. So but there's a couple other updates that we could get to, okay? There was one that I needed to bring in that I forgot. Somebody mentioned it. Oh, it was the protest, and I will get to that. But there's a couple things that just popped up on my timeline that I wanna read real quick. Okay, so Casemiro, all right, Uncle Cass, yeah, and this is what we're losing. All right, this is what we're losing, and this is what I was talking about as before it was announced, and this is why I was sort of saying, listen, if we could keep him for another year on a reduced wages and keep him around, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I don't think it's necessarily bad, and you can balance it. But Casemiro versus Premier League midfielders per 90 minutes. Possessions won, he's first in the entire league. Possessions won minus lost, he's first in the league. Interceptions, he's first in the league. Now, some of these things I don't really know what they means, but interceptions, PADJ in parentheses, I don't know what that means, but he's first in the league. Headed goals, he's second in the league. Forward pass ratio, he's third in the league. Non-penalty XG, he's third in the league. Forward passes, he's fourth in the league. And slide tackles, he's fourth in the league. So he is literally one of the best performing midfielders in the Premier League. Literally. He's basically top 3, top 5. We're going to have to replace that. We're going to have to replace that, and it's going to be hard because it's probably not really going to happen in the first season. Ultimately, it's going to probably have to take a couple seasons, you know, especially somebody like Elliot Anderson or Wharton. They're 21. They're on the younger side. They still have like a full career ahead of themselves to develop. They're nowhere near their prime. So I think the protest could be a good tool to force action in the transfer market. Well, I mean, they don't really have a choice, do they, Lawrence? I mean, they're kicking the can down and everything is towards the summer. I just think that the gamble is that there's no guarantee that it goes the way that it's being presented to us, in terms of there is always there's always a circumstance where Wharton goes somewhere, Anderson goes somewhere, we don't get neither one of those. We end up with Baleba because Baleba we're his number one choice, and then we go, well, we had 3 top targets. We got 1. We don't have the option to get the second one, so now we got to go and pivot and do something else. And then it's like, well, it ultimately depends what that is. You know, what you know, if that goes sideways in that manner, what is the pivoting option that you're getting us? You know, when you compare whatever that option is, when you compare it to Wharton, when you compare it to Elliot Anderson, what sort of level is it? So Anderson is aggressive enough to replace Casemiro as a similar player. He is. He is. I'm just saying that, you know, again, like, you're talking about a guy that is fully developed and has played at the highest level. So, you know, he has some aspects that he'll be able to do a job, but I'm just saying, you know, he won't necessarily have that experience. And his game is still not, you know, he's not near his prime. So it's just going to be different, you know? It will be different. Arsene Wenger, or Arsene Wanker, as I like to call him, gave his 2 cents on Arsenal versus Manchester United. And this is what he had to say, okay? This old fart of guy. All right, the goals scored on both sides illustrated a little bit the way the two teams played. The goals of United, they are well built up. Good cohesion, and the goals of Arsenal were more decided by power and fighting on the corner, not clean play. Well, you know what? At least his assessment was fair in that. And that was basically my point after we won the match anyway. And that's why I was like, we deserve to win it, because the goals that we created, they were well built up. It was good cohesion, and you would consider them real goals. You know, in a simpler term, you consider them real goals. What Arsenal scored, you know, some lucky bullshit, and then one from another bullshit, one from a set piece, and it was messy, and it was, you know, it was just lucky bounces and whatever. So, Paul Scholes has said on Harry Maguire, he's shown incredible character after everything he's been through. Even his own fans mocked him at times. The way he's fought back is unbelievable. He looks young again, full of energy and sharpness. I'll just leave that there. I don't want to get into the whole thing with Lisandro and fucking... I mean, because I agree with Harry Maguire, but again, what you did to Lisandro, you'd never done it to Harry. Not even in Harry's worst time. So, I don't really want to hear from you, Scholes. I don't really want to hear from you, Scholes. I'm tired of you speaking. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of you speaking. I'm tired of dedicating time to you. I am. Now, where is the protest? The protest. We need to speak on the protest. Let me get the 1958 pulled up here, okay? Because they did put out a tweet as we were live. And they have sort of outlined the whole thing. So, here is the tweet. I will read it to you. Protest details, Fulham, Sunday, 1st of February, time 1 p.m. It will be at 2 locations for anybody that can be there, that can attend, that will be in the area. Dual locations, meeting point A, top of Sir Matt Busby Way / Chester Road, and meeting point B outside Hotel Football. Both groups will converge at the Trinity. They also said, the 58, they also said in this tweet, maybe a surprise on the day that reflects our dysfunctional, inept ownership. They also asked to bring the heat, bring the noise, bring your love for the club. See you Sunday. Sincerely, the 1958. So, if you could show up, I advise anybody to go show up and support this. And, every person counts. And I'll definitely be watching, and I'll be doing my part as much as I can from an online standpoint. I'll bring up the images after the match. We'll talk about it as well. And I wish them the best of luck. I hope it goes well. I hope there's a massive turnout. And I'm glad that they haven't backed down from this, because it is quite a difficult thing. You sort of planned this protest, right? And in the time that you've been planning this protest and you've been organizing it, Carrick has come in and done exceptionally well, and things are positive and people are happy. And you could quite rightly probably just feel quite deflated and be like, we're losing people, or we're losing a bit of momentum, and maybe we shouldn't do it, and maybe it's not going to be good. And they've said no, like, it's not really about the results. It's about that the ownership is shit, and this it's being led in the wrong direction, and so the performances has nothing to do with it, and rightfully so. And they got to carry on. I think if they didn't do it, if they backed down from it, it would just show ultimate weakness, and I think they would ultimately lose long-term sort of respect and support. So they had to continue to do it. I think if they chose to do anything else other than that, I think it would be an ultimate huge L. So I hope people that can attend, or that are in or near the area, I hope that you do go and attend. If I was there, I would be going for sure. I would definitely be there. Whether they would want me there or not, I would still show up. I don't care. I would go for sure. So, I don't know what that means. Well, I know what it means, but I don't know what the hell. As Jasa said, nice try, Diddy. Nice try with what? And then why you calling me Diddy? I ain't no Diddy. You Diddy. You a Diddy motherfucker. Okay? Come in here talk about Diddy. You Diddy. I ain't no Diddy. Ray says we will know what we made of in the next 2 games. Well, I think over the next 5 games, we'll definitely know what we're made of for sure. So, we'll see. Lauren says I'd protest just about the money wasted sacking Ruben 1 year after the same for Ten Hag. Well, I mean, listen, they have had another sort of tweet that came out January 24th, and they sort of outlined, what it is. And they said, don't get distracted by the club or the press PR. Intend to move the narrative away from the real issues at the club. Glazers, Ratcliffe, and Ineos. We deserve better, and our traditions need to be respected. And they outlined this by saying, show fans are important with actions and not platitudes. Reward loyalty, stop exploiting it. Act as the blueprint for other clubs to follow in protecting loyalty and fan culture. Sort the ticketing and fairness system out. Remove the profit and loss mandate for the ticket office. It's the Wild West. Start acting like a bastion of the Premier League. Performances on the pitch, signings, managers, and a Disneyland Circus Stadium experience are secondary. And that comes from the 1958. So they make it quite clear what they are, why they are protesting. Now ultimately, my ideals don't really listen. I don't really like. They're going into sort of a different path on me. For me, it's just ultimately like I simplify it. I mean, they're being real detailed there. I simplify it, and just by saying that the club is just run like shit, and they are bad owners. So I would like them out, But they have specifics that they are, not too happy about. So, never back down on evil people, Glazers. No. My father went Army World War II. Did he really? Well, respect to him. Respect to all the service people out there. It's always a huge, tough sacrifice, and, they fight for everybody else's freedom. So, respect to those people. Respect to your father for going there and fighting. By the way, I guess I'll ask the chat, and the chat can let me know. But we do have 3 players up for Player of the Month nominees for January. Manchester United's Player of the Month, not the League Player of the Month. The 3 players we have is Matheus Cunha, Bruno Fernandes, and Patrick Dorgu. Those are the 3 players that are up for Manchester United's Player of the Month. Chat, who would you give the Player of the Month to? I know who I would give it to. I feel like some of you might say the same, but let me know in the comments, and I'll tell you mine. I don't like to give mine first, because then I feel like people might copy what I say. Even though that might not necessarily be true, but... Jamie Jackson giving us an update here, saying Manchester United could decide to go into the transfer market to cover Patrick Dorgu's absence, with Kader Miyet of Rennes among the names being monitored. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. We'll see, I guess. We'll see, I guess, what we end up actually doing. You know, I don't know. The whole thing about January is just like, it's got me so deflated. It's just like, you know, any news that comes out, it's just like, dude, I've seen like 10 of these, okay? I've seen like 10 of these. It's the same shit. It's the same bullshit. We've had all of January to do something. You've done nothing. Your intentions are quite clear that you don't want to spend money in January. You can tell me it's for whatever reason you want to tell me. It's because you still operate the club like a business and you don't want to spend money in the first quarter. Shit happens, and then they start shitting themselves, and then they're like, oh, we might actually be forced into having to do something, and then if they are forced into doing something, then they come out and spin it about like they've actually done the proper job that they were supposed to be doing in the first place. And that it wasn't actually about operating the club like a business and not spending money in the first quarter. And it's just like, I can't. There's nothing you could tell me that I'm gonna give you a round of applause for doing anything. To me, it's already too little, too late, and you've already shown your hand. So even if you turn around and you do something, nah, you know. It's late. I am ill. I will go to bed now. Okay. Well, good night. And appreciate you being here, even though you're still sick, Axe. So, again, feel better. You know, we'll see you soon. We will be streaming tomorrow as well. I'm just hitting the ground running right now. I'm just gonna try and get as many streams in as possible, because when my schedule changes back, which it will, definitely, and it will definitely be inconsistent, and it will definitely be all over the place, I won't be able to stream as much. So just going to take the opportunity now. I might take one day off at some point, but we will be back live tomorrow at the same time that we've been live, 8:15 p.m. UK. Just got to make sure. I don't believe there's any sort of significant matches. I don't like to do the streams when there's sort of football, because even a United fan, we do like to watch other football, right? Oh, there is Champions League, actually. So no stream tomorrow. I lied. Sorry. There's Champions League. I didn't know there was Champions League. It's on a Wednesday. Oh, because this is the last match, so everybody's playing at the same time. Okay. Yeah, so, you know what? No stream Wednesday. No stream tomorrow. We might come back Thursday because it's Europa League. And, I mean, who really cares really about Europa League like that? I mean, it's not that high of a level. The teams are smaller. But I will say at the very least, as of right now, definitely we'll do Friday as well. So, but if anything changes, I'll try and let you guys know. But we won't go live tomorrow. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. And I want to watch Champions League as well. So, no live tomorrow. I lied. Okay, my apology. I had no clue that there was actually Champions League. Lawrence says getting a ticket to Old Trafford is like going on a lifetime privilege to the Hajj. It's that with a global fan base, more an international holiday than a local supporter affair now. Yeah, see, the thing is, like, I don't really know too much about the process of it because I don't have to go through it, right? So, I mean, maybe I should do some research on it. But I mean, I've heard people complain about that sort of stuff, and I have sort of complained that, I have sort of heard that people do complain that, like, you know, sort of lifelong fans are getting passed up on tickets, or their tickets are getting taken away from them and given to, you know, I guess people that don't aren't from the local area or aren't really, maybe you would consider them true supporters, but they do have money, and it's like something to, it's for them, it's like something to do on like a Wednesday because they're bored and they have a shit ton of money and there's nothing to do and they could do something. So I have heard like complaints about that, which is obviously it's not right. I mean, if people have like some sort of a season ticket or something like that, or there are people that are like local fans, I mean, they should be able to get tickets. They shouldn't be able to not get tickets. It shouldn't be like local people, just because they have less money, they shouldn't be able to not, they shouldn't be getting priced out of tickets. They shouldn't be there should be an allocation of tickets for them. I mean, these people are important. They have to do with the history of the area of the club and the club itself. So, they should be able to get tickets. That's totally wrong that they're getting rejected simply purely because of money. And it's ultimate greed, unfortunately, as well. So it's just ultimate greed. So I understand the rife to a certain extent. I mean, but I've never gone. I never had to go through the process of like trying to get a ticket. So, and I don't live in that area, so I don't really know to the extent of all the atrocities and the process of it and stuff like that. So, I'm always open for people to explain it to me. That's something that like I don't really know about too much. And I think it'd be different for me anyway. Like when I go on the United website, they have like all these packages and stuff like that, and it's like, I don't know how that's necessarily different to the local fan, but they do sell like a bunch of packages. I've looked at them before because I do want to go to a match. And I will be going to one at some point. I need to get my father over there because he's never been there, and he's been fan for his whole life. And he ain't getting any younger, so we do got to go over there. So maybe next year. I think maybe next year would be ideal because he'll be closer to England. It'll be cheaper for us to do it. And I might be closer to England as well. So we'll see how it goes. And even if I'm not, hopefully I'll be all right in a position to just take the trip anyway. But we got to do it. So Patrick Dorgu injured? Yes, he is injured. Could be out for up to 10 weeks. I'm betting that they tell us 4 to 6. Hopefully. You've got to sell your ticket back to them, and they charge a commission. What kind of fucking? I gotta look into this. I'm gonna look into this, Lawrence. I'm gonna look into this. I'm gonna do a bit of research later on, and just look into like what the fuck is actually going on, because I don't really have any knowledge on that. But that what it sounds absolutely ridiculous. Lucky says, please, fans, join us after rant. Glazers come pubs and bars. Don't go in the stadium. We locking the door down. Well, I'm a bit intrigued by what the 58 said, that there might be some sort of a surprise. Okay. I wonder what kind of surprise that could possibly be. I hope it's not something that is just like on hype. I wouldn't believe that they try to do things. They don't really act like a group that operates on sort of some fluff hype to get people interested. So I think it would be something that would be sort of big. I don't know what it could be. I don't have any thoughts on it, but let's see what it is. I hope whatever it is, I hope it's something that just causes some sort of a scene. Some sort of an explosion of news, some sort of an explosion on the internet, through the papers, whatever it may be. I don't know. Maybe they have I don't know. I could be like way off the mark here. The only thing that has popped into my head is maybe they bring some sort of a legend of the club and comes with them. I think that would be massive. You got a legend of the club marching through the streets with the people in the protest. I don't think we've had that before. Maybe fucking Eric Cantona shows up or something. I don't know. I don't really know. But I think that would be massive. Now, it might not be that. It could be something else. But, I mean, I think if you manage to get somebody like Eric Cantona to show up to the protest, march with the people, and protest in front of the stadium like that. I think that's massive. That would be absolutely huge. That would be fucking everywhere. It would be everywhere. I don't know, what sort of actual impact it would have against the Glazers, but it would still be massive. It would still, it would still be a good image. We're locking the door down. Well, I think listen, I think that would be ideal, lucky to do ultimately, because I always say that it's got to be effective. It's got to cause some sort of disruption. I don't, and I think it's something that it doesn't lean in the camp of violence, okay, or sort of vandalism. You could do it in a way where you don't really necessarily break the law to that extent, okay? Because even when we, when we had the Super League and people broke into Old Trafford, okay, like many of us supported it because we were like, listen, it's something that needed to be done, okay? This is like drastic times sort of call for drastic measures. But at the same time, there was also the other aspect that there was many people from United fans that were disgusted by it, that were appalled by it. They were very unhappy. And there was also, a negative aspect to that as well. So I think if you could do it in a way where it does disrupt, where it does cause some sort of a scene, but it's not ultimately like causing some sort of maybe vandalism or something that would necessarily be considered breaking the law, I think that's like the ultimate win, because you're finding the perfect middle ground. And again, I've likened it to, I don't know how effective it could be, but if you can sort of, I've seen protests where people have linked arms in front of a business and blocked people from entering. You could technically do that. I don't know how effective that would be at Old Trafford Stadium. I don't know if you would have enough people to do that. But even if you did it and it momentarily worked and then people got removed or whatever, I think it's worth trying to do. So some people are prepared to risk a criminal record like political protests at their extreme. Well, some people are. And listen, I think sometimes I think there's a middle ground to handle that. I don't think our fans should show up there and start fighting people, throwing punches, and vandalizing shit or whatever, because I think that's counterproductive. I think once you start doing that, we lose credibility on that front. People don't back it, and you become the bad guy. You're trying to protest and you're trying to take a stand against ultimately the people that we deem bad people. And when you do things like that, ultimately you then become the bad guy, but you do sort of have to cross the line a little bit, because if you don't cross the line a little bit, it does tend to be quite ineffective. It does quite tend to, you're not really pushing some sort of a boundary. You have to push the boundary a little bit. So it's very difficult because you're sort of walking a fine line, and, it's not like it's easier to say things as well than for it to actually be carried out. So that's why I say, like, it's got to be very well thought out. It's got to be be planned very well. You got to be smart about it. I'm sure there's ways. Listen, if you could dedicate a lot of time, I'm sure there's always a way, right? And if there's a will, there's a way. So you could figure some shit out. And the people that are there, I mean, listen, they know the area way better than me. They know sort of the ins and outs and all the stuff around there. So, like, they would ultimately be the ones that have to come up with some sort of plan, to plan it out and be like, listen, this is how we're going to sort of disrupt this. But, we're going to make a stand. We're gonna cause a scene. It's going to be problematic in a certain way. There might be United fans showing up that aren't really in tune with this sort of cause, or they just don't know about it, and make them aware, and show that there is, like, this is some serious shit going on. This isn't like we're fucking around because we're mad because we're not getting a win at Old Trafford. Like, this goes much deeper. Wake some people up, make them attuned to sort of the problems. So it is a bit But yeah, I mean, you are right. I mean, there are people that listen, they're willing to sacrifice, maybe get a police record or whatever like that is, and ultimately that's up to to them. But I would say, I think the smartest way is you can't go too overboard, okay? Because listen, if they hold this like for example, right, this protest they hold against Fulham, yeah. If let's just say 6,000 people are marching together, protest, okay, and they go there, and when they get there, it turns into like some massive brawl. They're fighting security, they're fighting other fans, they're fighting, punches are being thrown, and this current, it's going to turn into a disaster. And what's going to happen is they're going to get the short end of the stick. They're the ones that are going to be the villains, and everybody's going to criticize them, and everybody's going to hate them, and everybody's going to call them out because people like to act like they're holier than thou. So you can't let it get to that point. But you also can't just. I think to just go there and stand there and then like chant, we've done it before and hasn't done anything. So you need to have a level where it disrupts, but it can't become like some out of control violent thing either. But that's what I'm saying. That's why they have a very difficult job. It's not easy, and a lot of the odds are against them as well. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. 6,000 people show up to a protest. Old Trafford holds 78,000 people. You're not even like at a quarter of people. So you're against all odds. You're fighting against all odds. It really is almost like, David versus Goliath. Okay? Because you're basically fighting a monster, and you're just this tiny man trying to make a stand. So it's not easy. Which is why I give my respects to them, because I am that type of person that always says, listen, I respect anybody that's willing to try and get up and do something, even if they fail. Okay, I can still respect them, because at least you're trying to do something. Other people will sit there, bitch and moan, and do not and won't even try to do anything about it. They'll bitch and moan all day, and then they'll say, well, what's the point in even doing anything, because nothing's going to happen. And it's just like, see, I can't get behind that. I can't really respect that. I'd rather you bitch and moan and try to do anything. And if it's a failure, it's a failure. And it's like, bro, at least you tried. At least you tried to put your money where your mouth is. But if you just sit there, bitch and moan all day, and then simultaneously you go, but it's pointless to even try and do anything because we're not going to win, then it's like, well, I don't really want to hear you complain then. So. Fans that want to go to games, go to pubs. We demand evil of ownership change and sell up. Well, listen, I get what you say, Lucky, but again, there's also the aspect of the people. Listen, anybody that has a season ticket, and you've given up your ticket, okay? But there's people that are not willing to do that, and it's hard to convince them to do that. And I don't even think you can convince them to do that. They need to make that change themselves. So, because ultimately they'll lose their ticket, and United will sell it, and they're already doing shit. Like Lauren said, they're already doing some sort of crazy schemes. So, and they already take tickets away from people. So it's they sort of have us by the balls. You know what I mean? They have us by the balls. It's very hard. So I don't know. We'll see. I wish them the best of luck. I wish them ultimate success, and I hope they can make some sort of impact and some sort of significance. And I hope it's a strong showing. It needs to be a strong showing. Listen, like, that's another thing. That's what I'm a bit afraid of, is that, they're pushing this, and it needs to be a strong showing. It needs to be a big showing, because if it's not, you're going to lose people. You're going to lose way more people, and you're going to lose the interest of way more people. And people are going to give up. So, we need something of significance to happen there. And we'll see how it is. I hope it goes very well. But I think, listen, we covered all the topics for today. It was a lot of stuff. a lot of stuff. Um, it was definitely a lot more news driven. But yeah, I think we covered all the topics. There's nothing new that's come out while we've been live. We've gotten all of the news from today. So ultimately, I mean, I guess we'll see, if Manchester United is going to actually end up doing something before, the window closes. I feel like I feel like they're playing with us because they're kind of like, oh, we may do something, but we don't know. But, if we do, it'll be late, but like, we're still uncertain and we'll let you know. And it's just like, all right, whatever. Like, I don't care anymore. You could have done it like 2 weeks ago. You were playing games then. You're playing games now. It is what it is. Ultimately, if they bring somebody in, yeah, like still good because like the basis of my main argument is why would you not get anybody in? Why would you not get somebody in? It should improve your chances just to have the extra option. Again, like, what happened to Dorgu? What happens if it happens to Casemiro or it happens to Mano? We'll be fucked. Because then you definitely can't do anything because the window is closed and you lose some. We're a bit short in that midfield. If you lose Mano or you lose Casemiro and you lose him for 10 weeks, we're staring down about like that could fucking derail us. So I think that they need to get somebody. They can't really afford not to get somebody. Dorgu on top of Delit is bad luck, and there'll be more coming. And I hope there's not. But as a club that's supposed to be serious and operates properly, Lawrence, that's the point. Like, you're supposed to, take those things into consideration. You're supposed to prepare for the worst. Like when a storm is coming or something, you don't just like look in your cupboard and say, yeah, like I got, a couple things of food, but should be all right. Like, why would you chance it? Why would you not go and buy more food? Even if it turns out to be extra, even if like you got to spend some money, maybe you don't have like a lot of money and maybe you need to spend some money that you don't really want to spend. Would you rather make sure that you're like sort of taken care of so that you don't get into a situation where you're like ultimately fucked and there's nothing you could do about it now? And like, so that's how I view it. It's just like, you can do something. It's not just about like going out there and making a statement signing. It's, you can help us secure our position a little bit better. And to just not do it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. Renault says, man, I was on a 20-minute phone call. Did we sign Ndidi? Not yet. Not yet. Were you on the phone with Ndidi? Is that who you're on the phone with? Were you talking to Ndidi? Were you talking to Ndidi's agent? Ndidi, lose Mount or Cunha, no top four. Well, I don't know about that. Lucky, I mean, Mount hasn't really played. I mean, maybe if you lose Cunha, that wouldn't be so great. But I mean, we technically still have Zirkzee. Maybe we have to call up Shea Lacey. But the midfield specifically, there's nobody. There's literally nobody. Like, we don't have anybody. There's no sort of, I mean, what we're gonna end up doing? Getting back Jack Fletcher or Tyler Fletcher to come up and play? There's literally nobody. There's Casemiro, there's Mano, and there's Ugarte. You lose one of them, you're playing both, okay? And we have no sub. So we go into matches. If Ugarte's playing like shit or Kaz is playing like shit, we have to continue to play with the player that's playing like shit. We can't even change them. We can't even substitute them out to maybe get something out of a match or get something new. So, yeah, I think they gotta go do something. If they don't do something, I think it just proves that they're fucking cheap Glazer morons. And it's all about money. And also, I think that they're just. I think it just adds to the incompetence conversation in that they truly believe that this squad is good enough to get top 4, and it may very well be, but they are missing the key point of what happens if some shit goes wrong. What happens if something that you don't plan on happening, like, the lesson was there to be learned. Like, they didn't let Kobe go on loan. They didn't let Zirkzee go on loan. They kept more players than they should have in the beginning of the season because they were trying to prep for AFCON because we were going to lose Mbeumo and Diallo and Mazawari for AFCON. And then right at the time we lost those players for AFCON, we lost Bruno and we lost a couple other players as well. And then we were short. And it was like, was the lesson not there already to be learned that, like, the squad could be good enough for top 4? Nobody was expecting Dorgu to get an injury that he may be out for 10 weeks. And now he's gotten that injury. That's another example. We're a bit short on wingers, actual real wingers. And you're sitting here still contemplating on if we should, at the very minimum, get some sort of a loan of a player in for the rest of the season. There's nothing really to contemplate. Just go fucking get the player. Just go get him. What is the big deal? What is the big deal? Nobody at this point in time, nobody's asking you to go and sign a midfielder for 60 million. Nobody's asking for that. Everybody's just saying, we're at the point where it's like, we're basically begging you to go get a midfielder that we don't even think, like, we're asking you to get a midfielder on loan that nobody would actually sign permanently because we don't even think that they're actually good enough. But, like, we need the body at the very least. And they're sitting there contemplating it, talking about, well, if we do it, it'll be very, very late. It's like, bro, just go do it now. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, where's the rationale in that? Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it at all. You know what, though? I'm very upset that nobody mentioned anything about our little picture here in the corner next to Carrot Jesus. All right? I thought it would be a big hit. But nobody mentioned it at all, so I'm a little upset about that. I thought it was going to be a big hit. I thought it was going to be funny. I thought people were going to get a good laugh out of it. Nobody mentioned it. Nobody had a word. Nobody even noticed. Or I guess maybe it wasn't as funny as I thought it would be. So it's unfortunate. Unfortunate. It's like one of those times when you put out a post on social media and you think it's going to be a banger and then nobody likes it and you're like, fuck. I guess I missed the read on that one. By the way, I can't see. Let me see the demographics. Not the demographics. Oh yeah, by the way, I could see this. Top fans. I'm going to start doing this, by the way. Top fans of the show. Lawrence Burry, number 1. Lawrence is in the number 1 spot, by the way. And if that's you in your profile picture, Lawrence, I like the glasses. I like the shades. Reynoso, number 2. Temesgin in number 3. Lucky in number 4. DJ, number 6. Hated, adored, never ignored in 7. And Ray in 8th place. Those are the top people of today's stream. I'm going to start doing that more often, okay? And if you're wondering how you get up to be a top fan, it's by interaction. So, I don't know. It's not like I'm putting the rating. YouTube does it, but I can see. And there's a list, and it says top fans, and Lawrence Burry is number 1 for today. So, same mic I told you, Quadcast. Yeah, HyperX. I've been hiking, haven't had a lot of screen time. You've been hiking, haven't had a lot of screen time, and you've managed to come in second. Phenomenal. But it's good you go hiking, brother. I just started back on my exercising as well, okay? Yesterday I ran about 3 miles. Reynoso knows what miles are. The rest of you have to do the conversion to kilometers. It's not a lot, but just getting back into things. So 3 miles is like a lot. Ran 3 miles, doing some weightlifting, you know, getting back into it. I've gained a little bit of weight. Was a little bit off my path, you know, so I got to get back on that. Very, very important. Take care of yourself. I come to comment, not to read. So, yeah, it's good that you go hiking, man. I can't go hiking. You know, listen, when it's like spring, summer, like you can go outside over here. It's all right. We got like, there's places they call them preserves, okay? They're like pieces of land. You know, the meaning's sort of in the name. It's like they preserve sort of the nature, okay? So they got like nature trails and stuff like that. You could go walking on them or running on them, whatever. They're decent, but it's not like Cali. Cali's got like, you know, Cali's got like the big trails. Cali's got like the not mountains. That's the word I'm looking for. I know. Yeah, they got like hiking trails and stuff like that. They got the real one. Renault says, yeah, I was powerlifting all 2025, but now it's time to lose some fat. That's it. Well, listen, you could lose fat by lifting weights as well. You need a combo. You need a combo. You know what I mean? You need a combo. You need a combo. Lauren says, I literally haven't been to Old Trafford since 1988. Easier for me to watch Aleche play in La Liga half an hour up the road. Oh, yeah, because you're in Spain. I forget. But I remembered, see? So I didn't totally forget. But damn, that's a long time, man. Still better than me, though. Still better than me. I haven't actually... I mean, I've seen United play, like, in real life, but when they've come to America, you know? But haven't actually been to Old Trafford, so... and we were supposed to go. We're supposed to go, but we haven't actually just gone yet. So, looking to go. Got to make it happen because you just never know. Life is short. Got to make it happen. We got to go. Got to get it done. Especially because now, you know, it's not like it's going to happen tomorrow, but because they are, you know, sort of making new Old Trafford or whatever the hell they're actually going to call it. Definitely need to go to Old Trafford. I know it's not in the best state, but I don't really care. It's more about the history. It's more about, you know, what's gone down in that stadium. You know, we're going to take the full tour. We're going to go, you know, the whole thing. I want to see the trophy cabinet. I want to see all of it. I want to see the whole thing. So, that would be great. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've seen them at the Rose Bowl 2014. But we are going dog 3-year plan. That's great. Yeah, you get over there too. And then you know what? If everything's good, when you go, okay, I might go before you go, but when you go, maybe we'll try and link as well. You know, maybe one day, you know, whenever we actually decide to go, I'll announce it. And then maybe we could all maybe some of us could try and go together. You know, I know this sort of I was waiting for Lucky to say that. I will never go to Old Trafford. I will keep protests, make sure stick pubs, bars. And I know I was gonna say that. It kind of contradicts, but it's like, listen, I gotta go once. All right, I gotta go once. Especially because they're taking Old Trafford away. So, you know, if they weren't taking Old Trafford away, maybe I'd hold out. But I gotta listen. This is what I'm talking about, and this is why they have us buy the Bulls. You know, because listen, my father's got to go. He ain't getting younger. He hasn't gone, and he needs to go. Like I feel like he deserves to go. You know what I mean? And I'd like to go there with him, and share that experience. You know what I mean? And it's like, so I can't do that because the fucking Glazers, like, you know. It's bullshit. No, it's bullshit. It is bullshit. So, I'm spending 1,700 tickets or food. Well, that's a lot. My dad got lots of free tickets. My brother tucked in too. But even that's going back almost 20 years. My dad got his photo taken with the trophies. Yeah, that's nice. See? And it's just like something you do. And listen, it's not like I'm going to be showing up to Old Trafford every week anyway. You know, I'm just going. We're going to go there probably like once, and then that might be it. You know, and then if we do go again, you know, it won't be like we're going every week. So, £2,000 food going making advances of us. Listen, I don't know what it costs, but they do have deals. So last time I checked, I do gotta go there. Yeah, so I do gotta go there. But yeah, listen, I think this is like the end of the show. I don't think there's really anything else to sort of talk about today. We covered a lot of topics, a lot of updates, a lot of news. It was a very news-driven show, less sort of opinionated, I guess. But there was so many updates. It was all like midfield, summer transfers, and stuff like that. So no live tomorrow. Again, no live tomorrow. There's Champions League. And I know this is a bit messy. I would prefer to give you guys set things, but as far as right now, I will say Friday definitely for sure, 8:15 p.m. UK. We will be back Friday. Thursday, we'll see. I think we could do one Thursday. There is Europa League, and it is sort of the final of the group stage for Europa League. So I don't know what kind of news we'll get, but the fact that we're not going live tomorrow, maybe there'll be sort of enough things to discuss and talk about, combining Wednesday and Thursday, because I assume that there won't be as much news coming out tomorrow and stuff like that. Obviously, if United, for whatever reason, make some sort of a loan signing or something breaks, then we'll have to go live. And I'll go live. And if there's any change in my schedule, because there could possibly be a change in my schedule, especially leading up to Friday, then I will try to notify everybody as best as possible. People in the Discord, you will get notified immediately and first and the fastest, because it is just the easiest. All I have to do is at you in the Discord, and all you got to do is pop in the Discord and you get it. Everybody else that's not in the Discord, the only way that I could really update you is through a community post, and then you have to, essentially, you got to find the community post, or YouTube has to make it pop up for you to see it. So, I could do that at the very least. But what I will say is thank you for smashing the like button. Everybody that smashed the like button, greatly appreciate that very, very much. To everybody that supports the channel, thank you to everybody that got in the chat and was here chatting with us and giving us your thoughts and opinions. Grace has joined us, said we signed P. Diddy, will be bringing Jay-Z with him. Grace, you missed it. All right, somebody came in here. Okay, Grace, somebody came in here while I was in mid-show. All right. I was in mid-show, I was in mid-news, all right? You weren't here, okay? And as I'm talking, I don't even know who they were, and all they said was, nice try, Diddy. I'm pretty sure they called me Diddy, Grace. That's fucked up. I ain't no Diddy. I ain't having no Diddy parties, all right? I ain't no Diddy. They came in here, told me, nice try, Diddy. Which I know what that means, because it's an internet meme thing, okay? I'm not that much of an unkin dinosaur, alright? I don't know why they said it, though. And then they didn't say anything. They didn't even respond to me. I was looking maybe for a little bit of a back and forth. I was looking for maybe a bit of a fight with the troll, I like fighting with the trolls, because they're stupid, And they think they're the shit, and I'll just troll them right back, so... Grace says I can see the resemblance. Renosa says, have a good one, bro. Talk to you later this week. Yep. So listen, no stream tomorrow, okay, guys? No stream tomorrow. Make sure, listen, if you didn't hit the like button, make sure you hit the like button on the way out, okay? If you're new and you subscribed, thank you for subscribing. 69% of... Hold on. before we get out of here, okay, all right. You know what? Today it's fair. I don't even know what happened to my hair. Okay, I had it looking nice, and somehow it just went the other way. Okay, it just went the other way. All right. You know what? Today, fine. Okay, look, people voted in the chat, 13 people, and we have 13 likes. So nobody lied to me today. Everybody was truthful. Everybody was honest. All right, everybody was honest. All right, 13 people voted. That 69% of you said you obliterated the like button immediately, and 31% of you told me you were obliterating now, and we have 13 likes. Okay, last time people lied to me. All right, last time we had about like, I don't know, it was like 28, 30 votes, and it's basically both choices are you're hitting the like button. All right, and we only had like 18 likes, and I was like, 10 people came in here, took the time to vote, and then lied and never hit the like button. So at least everybody that was part of the show today, nobody lied. All right, nobody lied. Must be the hair. I got Diddy hair. That P Diddy joke, United stand again. Wait, what? I can't tell you, Lawrence. I don't know. You bunch of liars, you're all getting smacked. Come outside. Grace will hunt you down. Do not lie on this channel, okay? Because Grace will hunt you down, okay? And she will literally tie you to a chair, and she will force you in some sort of way. I don't know how she would do it, but she would literally tie you to a chair, and she'll tape your finger to the like button so that it automatically is a like, okay? She will come and get you. She will find you. She will find you. She is the Liam Neeson of this channel, okay? She is, we call her Grace Neeson, okay? She will find you. And she will make you pay. She said I'm a paid assassin. Not even paid, Grace. You do it for free out of the sport and fun, okay? You do it because you do it for the thrill. Which makes you ultimately way more dangerous because you're not even getting paid for it. You just do it because it gives you life. Okay, it gives you life. You can call me the Graysonator. you got to change your name. That's actually a good one. That's actually good. See, I wish I was that witty to think of that. I was not smart enough. See, I was on top of my. This is why we don't have more. This is why we don't have more subscribers. This is why we don't have more subscribers. I should have came up with that one. Paid, you ain't that guy yet. No. But I will be one day. Listen, all right. Enough as Grace would say, enough rambling. Okay? Enough waffling. All right? I've been waffling. All right? It's time to go. Everybody be good. Stay safe. Take care. Thank you for the support, as always. You guys have been fantastic. Everybody have a good night. No show tomorrow. Champions League. Be on the lookout for Thursday. Friday, definitely guaranteed, as far as I could tell you right now. Should be. If anything changes, I'll let you know. But Friday, you bet your bet. If we do a stream on Thursday as well, it will be at 8:15 p.m. UK. So Friday is going to be the same. And then we'll go forward from there, okay? The equalizer belongs in football, yeah. Yeah. All right, guys and ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good night, okay? Be good. Stay safe. We'll see you in a couple days, all right? Me and Delo and Amarim have got your numbers. It's a dangerous trio. Dangerous trio. You don't want that. Listen, you're walking down the street at night, okay? It's like 12:30 in the morning. Well, hold on. We got to make it a little later. Like 1:30, 2 a.m. in the morning. You're walking home from the pub, okay? You see 3 shadowy figures in the distance. And, you're not trying to get nervous or anything. Put your hood up, Trying to be all menacing, you put your hood up. Walking down the street. And as you get closer, you just see Grace, Delo, and Ruben Amorim just standing in the path of the sidewalk at 1:30 in the morning. And once you realize it's them, you try to turn around, okay? And it's too late because Grace is already behind you. Ruben, you turn back around, Ruben and Delo are right in front of you, and you're fucked. Portuguese Mafia, and Delo is the captain. That's it. All right. But for real, though, I got to get out of here, okay? I got to go do things. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten. It's getting late. Everybody take care. Be good. Have a good night. All right? Stay safe. We'll see ya probably Thursday. Definitely Friday. All right? No stream tomorrow, okay? Everybody enjoy the day off. Probably be a crazy Champions League day. I hope it'll be good. But other than that, we're out. Take care.